Hello once again, YouTube. Chris the Nightbringer here, bringing you some StarMade today. So, it's about time we got this show on the road. Today marks the beginning of the process of me converting EVE Online ship models into usable ships that you can play around with in StarMade. And we begin the process with a Caldari Shuttle. It is one of the few shuttles that I haven't done yet. There's only one more that I have not touched yet, which would be the Caldari Shuttle, which is oddly shaped, which is why I did not bother going towards that shuttle. But now that I have the model for it, it's possible for me to do that. And frankly, this ship right here gave me trouble when I first attempted it like a year ago. So I don't know why, because honestly it was such a small ship, it should have been easy, but you know, I want to be accurate and I want to make it look good, so I gave up on it like after a day or something, I don't know. And I haven't gone back since. So now that I have the model in front of me, basically what I will be doing is quickly going over the first time I do this in a video. I'll be telling you what I'm doing, and I'll be showing some footage that is sped up, but that'll come later. But I'm going to be wireframing the ship. Basically, I'm taking all the shapes and then cleaning them up with a wireframe so that I know where everything goes. And then I will be color coding the wireframe as well. I have different colored hulls for different sections of the ship. So for example, this engine here will be a different color wireframe than, you know, this hull piece or this wing. So I don't get confused and I don't realize that I've missed something or something like that. Which is a very smart thing you should do if you're going to wireframe, color code portions of the ship. I assume most people would automatically think to do that though. So I'll be wireframing it, and then I will move on to filling in those sections of the hull with details, or at least major sections of the hull will be filled in. The details would come after that, where I do external details and then internal details. The reason I'm doing external first is because I know what the outside of the ship looks like. Everyone that has played EVE knows what it looks like. There are two great programs, internet browser programs, as a matter of fact, that I can use to, you know, figure out whether what I'm making is correct or not. And one of them is called EO Labs or something like that, EOH Labs. And the other one is called Caldari Prime Pony Club, which is hilarious. That's the type of mentality of an EVE player, is to name their website Caldari Prime Pony Club. Anyway, those two sites allow you to look at EVE Online ships in great detail, especially the Caldari Prime Pony Club website, which allows you to actually customize the ship in the model viewer that's in the browser, which is crazy. So that's really cool, and I'll be using those as reference images for all of the ships coming up. So I'm going to wireframe this. I'll get back to you when I'm done with that, and then we will start filling in sections of the ship. Right, so as you can see, I've fleshed out the wireframe for the ship, and it looks a lot more defined than this thing over here, which is what I started off with. So you can see all the actual details of the ship now, and all the different shapes, and it's pretty cool because a lot of these blocks allow me to do stuff that I could not do in the past. I used to try and build these ships in the past, and just these block shapes are amazing for this type of stuff. So we have, you know, different colored pieces of hull indicating different things. For example, this orange here represents the black screen in the front of the ship, where this blue represents the external hull layer. This brown section represents a more delicate hull section. The red is for the engines right now. I guess I color matched all the engines so that they were the same. And we have this antenna sticking out of the side, and the wings, I made them thinner because in all reality the wings are not that thick on the ship. It's probably just, you know, how the model is exported. It just wants to make sure that there's a block there. So let's say that basically I assume what it does is it kind of places the model on a grid, and wherever the model faces intersect a block, it'll place a block there anyway, even if it intersects the block only a tiny amount. And I suspect that's just so that it makes sure that there is no like holes in angled pieces and, you know, stuff like that. So that's pretty interesting. But there we have it. We have begun the process, and it's looking pretty good so far. This is a lot better than I expected it to be, considering how small it is. Oh my good god. I just got massive amounts of lag. Anyway, what I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to be doing a little speed build of me filling in all the hull and doing the external details, and then figuring out how I want to do the internal structure of the ship. So, enjoy. Alright, and here we have it. This is it. This is the Caldari Shuttle. So, a few things to talk about now that it's finished. As you can see, there's some details, there's some lights, there's engines over here in the back, all sorts of awesome stuff. So, I'm going to go over a few things that I've decided to begin with, and then I'll show you the inside. So first of all, I would like to point out that I kind of wish that there was more variety in terms of mechanical looking blocks that I can use, because right now all of the machinery based blocks, for example Astro-Techno beams and salvage beams and all the weapons computers, have colors, and as cool as that is, I would very much love it if somebody developing the game saw this and decided to add in a neutral colored mechanical looking block, because that would just be like the greatest bit of whatever you could throw into this game right now, for me at least. Everything else can wait until I get that block, or a set of blocks. And the way I was thinking is that you could have like 2 or 3 blocks, right? And they would all have their own patterns on them in terms of like machinery and, you know, struts or something on the machinery or whatever. It would just look like there's a component there, right? Because you can get pretty detailed with these texture packs. Look at all the detail in that. You can see a little grid there and some mechanical stuff, and you know, there's room for that type of detail. So you could have 3 or 4 of these blocks that have different components on them, but when you put them all next to each other, they actually lined up, and you could arrange all of these components in a way that was random, but they still made sense when put together. And I think that would be a really good idea. So basically, that's my proposal for the next decoration block, and there you go. So on the outside we have, you know, exposed bits of machinery. You'll notice that there is very little hull, or hardened hull, and there is an important reason behind that. First of all, hardened hull is like the most expensive hull that you can get, obviously. There's nothing more expensive than it, and there probably won't be anything more expensive than it. Maybe, but I highly doubt it. I think we're stuck with hardened hull for now, and that's fine. The thing is I don't want to cover the ship in only hardened hull, and I see so many people doing that. So many people. And what I'm about to show you will allow me to utilize this technique of minimizing my hardened hull count and pulling off some really cool effects. So if I get in the ship real quick and come up over here, you can see that because I shot at this other shuttle, the hardened hull stays intact, but the regular hull gets broken down, and it gives like the best effect ever in terms of wrecked ships. Look how freaking cool that is. That thing actually looks like, you know, it took some damage, but it's still trying to hold itself together. You know, all the bits that have hardened hull are still there, and all the bits that aren't hardened hull are gone. And you can really get to see, you know, where I'm trying to go with this. And in the future, when I work on bigger ships, I'll be releasing wrecked versions of those so that you can put them in your world and find them while you're exploring your universe. And this type of technique is really going to help me. Now, if I now check this out. If I throw in some lava, just one or two is all I need. Throw in 1 or 2 lava around those holes, especially on the bigger ships, and it'll look like it's burning because it'll light up. That is just genius, and it's only gonna work if it looks like this, because frankly a big gaping hole in the side of a ship just looks like a big gaping hole. It looks exactly like what you did to it. It looks like you hit it with 1 billion missiles or something, because you're only using hardened hull and not both types of hull and utilizing that effect. So from here on out, all of the ships will be using hardened hull only in the seams of plating on the ship and as internal structural supports. So things like girders and stuff like that will be made out of hardened hull on my ships. So don't expect to see a big heavy ships that have super armor on them. You know, I can get a really cool effect with that, and I want to keep that, you know, design philosophy throughout the rest of this. So let's take a look inside. So here's the door. There's only one door, and this is where it is. If we go inside, we're in the entrance. There's some gravity units, and there isn't much right here, although there could be. I don't really think it's necessary to put much stuff here. So this is a shuttle. It's got 10 cubic meters of capacity for cargo. And by cargo, I mean people. I guess that's the thing. So like 5 people could go chill on this ship if they wanted to and take a ride. So if you come in here, this is like a bunk. This is for the pilot if they're, you know, gonna stay in space and sleep in their cabin. So this is the cabin, and for every, what is it? Yeah, for every cubic meter of cargo space, I will put down a locker for every single one of my ships. If we come over here, we can see that this is the actual pilot's chair. There is one above it, and I really like the design of this because it slants down, and it kind of makes you feel like the chair is a little bit suspended above the actual bottom of the ship. So that's pretty neat. If we come over here, and we go up this little stair area, we have, you know, some control panels and more cargo space. These I like to think of as folding chairs or some sort of collapsible seat that you can pull down from the wall, or maybe even spare bunk beds of some sort. If we look in here, this is the actual core. I know you really can't see it, but this is green. There's a faction module. I'll be including faction modules on the core now as well. And the actual ship core is right there, but this is the capsule. Back here we have the reactor and the, you know, the capacitors and the engines and all that stuff. And basically this would have been open if the capsule wasn't there, but because the capsule is how you pilot the ship, there is really no need for an engineer on a ship this size. Over here we have some informational panels as well as information about the model itself. Caldari Shuttle, standard model. So I'll be including that type of information on all my ships as well, and I'll be using more creative ways of... I'll be more creatively using the this type of stuff on larger ships. So there's that. If we come over here, this is the upper deck for the cockpit. I don't really think this person would be flying it out, and really there is no need, but Caldari are, you know, the type of people that are all military, and compared to the other races, they're probably the most militaristic, and they're very traditional in terms of how they, you know, go about their stuff. So chances are they might actually have two pilots flying a ship this small. So that's pretty cool. So I really like this upper deck though. And right here we have the CPU bank. CPU banks are pretty important on EVE Online ships, so I'm going to be including those as well. And when we get to larger ships, you'll see very specific types of reactors for each of the races, because they all have their own reactor types and they all have their own sensor types. So you'll be... oh my god. I just like choked on a dust or something. I don't know what that was. Sorry. They all have those specific reactors and sensor types, so you'll be seeing those on the larger ships, but not so much on the smaller ships. You'll probably start seeing those on the destroyer-sized vessels once I get to them. So if we get out of here, I can show you what else I did, because basically, when it comes to EVE Online ships, there's multiple versions. Now, I have 4 ships left to go, but here are some alternate color variants that you can check out, and when I release this ship for download, these ship variants will come with it. Basically, I had to replace all of the hull with a different hull color, and that's what I got. So let me just get out of this real quick and show you. And if I come all the way down here, I can tell you which ones they are. Because the Caldari, if you do not know, is like a conglomeration of corporations working together as a society. And it very much is reflected in the design of their ships. They're very... they're not sleek, but they're very, oh, I don't know, what's the word for it? They're sharp, I guess would be a nice way of saying it. They're very, they look militaristic compared to the other designs. You know, the Amar are elegant, the Minmatar are very rustic, the Galente are very organic looking, the Caldari are very militaristic. If these things were covered in camo patterns, you would, you know, not mistake them for a military type of vessel. So we have, right here, you may not notice the difference, but the wings have a different color and some of the details are different colors. This is the CBD Corporation Edition. Nothing too crazy about this. It's pretty much the same. This is the Hyasuda. Is that it? I think it's like... Hyasuda. Yeah, Hyasuda. That's it. This is the Hyasuda edition, right? And again, there's very minor differences, but I did want to include it because why should I just exclude a single ship if I'm going to even bother? There wasn't much to change anyway, so I decided to go for it. Now, this one is... Oh god, I don't even remember what this one is. Which one is this one? Issue Cone. Issue Cone has a very specific thing where they fade a gold color into black, and I do not want to do that with a ship that's small, let alone a ship that's much bigger, because it just looks like crap. So instead, I will be dividing the color down the middle of the ships. If somehow I make it look good on a bigger ship, I'll start doing that on the bigger ships for the Ishikun versions. But for now, it's just going to stay like this, and I think that looks fine. It's very, it's more yellow than gold, but that's okay. It looks fine the way it is. And it's pretty cool. And yeah, that's issue cone 1. This one right here is Ka'alakoita, right? I think that's it. Ka'alakoita. Yeah, Ka'alakoita. Now this one is one of my favorites because of these red designs, these red stripes that you'll see on the ship, and you'll see that more often. Also, the colors of the lights have changed, and you'll see that in here. You know, I changed the CPU bank as well as the lights and the glass as well, because there's colored glass now, and it just looks amazing. Look, it actually almost looks like the sun is filling up this room with yellowish, orangish light, and it looks really great from the distance, and I can't wait to implement that on some bigger ships, because that'll just look really good. So there's that one. This one right here is the Lai Dai Corporation. This one is another one of my favorites. I didn't think I would like it because it's brown, and brown is just ugh, but it's got an orange stripe here. It's one of, you know, it's some part of its, you know, like, identity is the fact that it's got orange on brown, which is actually pretty good looking. You can't really see it that well here, but look at that color. Look at the color that's being cast by this light onto the orange and the brown. It just looks good. It looks really good. And the engines stay the same throughout these ships. The last two, there's still 4 more that I have to make, but I'm done for the day, so I'll be making those over the course of the next days, and I will release a specific video when these ships are released for download. So there will be that. This one right here is the State Issue Edition, or State Edition, which has yellow lights instead, very black with some silvery accents, and a brownish stripe. I didn't want to do it completely yellow, I'd rather have it more brown and dark, and I think that looks pretty good. And this one right here is the Wirikomi Edition, which is all green with silver accents and a white stripe. So basically, you know, that's it. That's everything that I've done today. So, and in terms of what you can expect from me in the future, I'll be posting links for this crap all over the place. You'll be able to download the single ship from the forums, community content. You'll be able to download just the base model, and there will be a link on that community forum post for all the other ship types on my personal MediaFire site. So you can look forward to that in a few days when I finish them all and post them for download as a collective set. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more, and the next video that I'll be posting in StarMade will be something big. I won't be building anything, but it will be absolutely massive. So subscribe if you want to check that out when I post it. It should be around Friday, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Now that I have the model in front of me, basically what I will be doing is quickly going over the first time I do this in a video. I'll be telling you what I'm doing, and I'll be showing some footage that is sped up, but that'll come later. But I'm going to be wireframing the ship. Basically, I'm taking all the shapes and then cleaning them up with a wireframe so that I know where everything goes. And then I will be color coding the wireframe as well. I have different colored hulls for different sections of the ship. So for example, this engine here will be a different color wireframe than, you know, this hull piece or this wing. So I don't get confused and I don't realize that I've missed something or something like that. Which is a very smart thing you should do if you're going to wireframe, color code portions of the ship. I assume most people would automatically think to do that though. So I'll be wireframing it, and then I will move on to filling in. Hello once again YouTube, Chris the Nightbringer here, bringing you some StarMade today. So, it's about time we got this show on the road. Today marks the beginning of the process of me converting EVE Online ship models into usable ships that you can play around with in StarMade. And we begin the process with a Caldari Shuttle. It is one of the few shuttles that I haven't done yet. There's only one more that I have not touched yet, which would be the Caldari Shuttle, which is those sections of the hull with details, or at least major sections of the hull will be filled in. The details would come after that, where I do external details and then internal details. The reason I'm doing external first is because I know what the outside of the ship looks like. Everyone that has played EVE knows what it looks like. There are 2 great programs, internet browser programs, as a matter of fact, that I can use to, you know, figure out oddly shaped, which is why I did not bother going towards that shuttle. But now that I have the model for it, it's possible for me to do that. And frankly, this ship right here gave me trouble when I first attempted it like a year ago. So I don't know why, because honestly it was such a small ship, it should have been easy, but you know, I want to be accurate and I want to make it look good, so I gave up on it like after a day or something, I don't know. And I haven't gone back since. So